I wanted to spend a moment today sharing a little bit about toothpaste and the meaning of life. This might sound like a very strange connection, so let me explain. Many, many, many years ago, I realized that one of my neurotic things is that I really love the moment when you finish a tube of toothpaste and get to open the new one. And I have a lot of kind of quirks like this, but this one was pretty strong. I was like, oh, I look forward to it so much. And I started noticing that not only do I look forward to the feeling of completion when you finish a tube of toothpaste, but I also am kind of mildly irritated every day when I don't have that feeling. So every time that I go and brush my teeth and my toothpaste kind of looks like almost done or like half done. I don't know, like, should I roll up the end and try to make it tidy, or should I just squeeze it and make a big mess? And the kind of messiness and in-betweenness of a half-used tube of toothpaste is like very mildly irritating. I mean, mildly irritating. I certainly have other bigger issues in my life to worry about. And I noticed that I loved the feeling of like when you squeeze the last little bit of toothpaste out and you get to put that one away and you get to take a brand new bottle and you get to open it and peel off the little foil cap. I just loved those moments. And I started realizing that I have no idea how many servings there are in a toothpaste container, but let's say maybe 100, right? So if 1 out of 100 times I get the experience of an empty toothpaste bottle or a full toothpaste bottle, I am spending 99% of my toothpaste experiences being mildly annoyed at the messiness of toothpaste. Okay, toothpaste as a metaphor for life. You with me? Yes. So I would argue that the exact same thing is happening in our lives. We have these peak moments where we just feel a sense of completion. We've finished something big or we're starting something exciting. But 90% of the time, probably more, we're in the messiness of being incomplete. We ourselves are in the messiness of our own development. Our lives are in the messiness of their unfolding. The world is in colossal messiness of chaos and conflict. We do not get these peak completion experiences very often if we are looking to the externals in our lives. So, the thing that's important here that I want you to notice is how we tend as humans to pit messiness against completion. It's an either or in our minds, right? Either the toothpaste jar is half full and a mess, or it's like one of those rare moments where you get to finish something and start something new. And I think often we feel the same way about our lives. We feel like either things are messy and unresolved and in process, or they're settled and resolved and complete. But that's a fallacy. And that is my favorite fallacy. In fact, I wrote a whole book about this fallacy. It's called And, because I am so dedicated to finding and addressing all of this kind of either or thinking that makes our lives harder and less fulfilling and less creative. And so, if instead of thinking that life is going to be messy or complete, I'd invite us to have a conversation about what it looks like to put an and there. What it looks like not to live our lives like we're squeezing a tube of toothpaste and we're just trying to get to the end, but what it looks like to realize that we are messy and complete simultaneously. That the toothpaste analogy is great because it reminds us that so much, maybe even 99% of the time, we're in the messiness of our lives. And if we're waiting for that 1% of time where we can feel complete because something external has happened, because we finished a tube of toothpaste or got a promotion or signed a lease on a new home, if we're waiting for those external moments of completion, that we are not actually going to be living lives that feel very complete. Now, this is a big deal. This is replacing messy or complete with messy and complete. So we want to cultivate the feeling that there is a messy human process of learning and growth and pain and hardship, and that is happening all the time. And that the completeness actually comes underneath that. It's not mutually exclusive, it's simultaneous. And so I'd invite you to do a little bit of looking in your life on this theme of completion. In the external world, where do you tend to rush to try to finish things and end things to avoid the discomfort of just being a messy human? Or conversely, where in the external world do you tend to procrastinate or hold back or not really want to finish things because you're kind of uncomfortable about like getting to that point where something's going to be seen or even celebrated? So have a look in the external world about your relationship with completion. But then also have a look and a feel in your internal world and see if there's anything that you might be able to do today, this week, this month, that would nourish a sense of kind of completeness within. Now, I'm not suggesting that you're going to be able to snap your fingers and just feel this kind of inner perfect completion, that you're going to feel an inner peace and a settledness all the time. What I am suggesting is that the feeling of completion actually resides within you already. That there is some part of you, even if it's just 1%, that knows the feeling of being settled at home, complete, that knows the feeling of a deep sense of connection and belonging. So the more that we spend time accessing that inner completion, that inner full tube of toothpaste, the more it's available to us. And the more it becomes a resource to us during volatile times. Because every time something's volatile or messy in the external world, we no longer lose connection to that internal completion. And if you're interested in hearing more of the specific methods that I use to foster these kinds of inner journeys, I'd encourage you to grab a copy of my new book, and if you're someone who really loves to journal and explore, there's also a companion journal so you can write and draw and make it your own. Be well and see you soon.